for the orange one, the one we've been waiting for, the one we made on camera. Here it is. Hopefully we can get this going. I'm kind of nervous. I put so much effort into this. All right, let's see it. Hey, welcome to KCC Kids Vids. Today I want to show you how to make the longest flying world record holding paper airplane. It's going to be pretty difficult, but make sure you take your time with this. I'm going to make the coolest paper airplane we can, and when we're done, we're going to test it out and show you. So I have an orange piece of paper here and my guide that I made earlier, which is kind of pinkish red. What color do you think this even is? Whatever. We'll throw that later too. But check this out. First, I want to unfold this one to show you how to do it. Remember, you need a regular piece of paper. It doesn't matter if it's colored, 8.5 by 11 inches, but it's just a regular size of copy paper. So here's what we want to do first. Take your paper and you want to fold down to the edge to make the corner hit the edge like this. You want to make sure it's straight though. Okay, make sure it's completely straight, fold it down, the line matches up everywhere, and once we've matched it up, we're gonna seal it so it looks like that. Make that seam tight. There's a little bit of a tail here, but that's the way it looks for now. Now we want to unfold that and do the same thing on the other side. Line up my seams to where we are looking like that. Same thing on the other side. And now when we unfold it, we should have this X here, okay? After that, we want to take it long ways and fold it completely in half. Make sure and line up the corners. And you see this little X center right here? It should fold perfectly right there. You know, it's pretty interesting making paper airplanes. Lots of things are interesting for us to understand. Like, let's think about the Bible times for a minute. There are no airplanes in the Bible, right? But I wonder if people tried to fly things like paper back then. I don't know. So anyway, now we've got our X shape and our line down the middle, and here's what we want to do next, if I can remember. Let me look at my guide real fast. I believe the next thing we want to do is fold right on this center. So where that X is right there, now you've got that X with the line through it with the seams. We want to fold in half right where that X is, okay? Make sure it's as perfect as possible. So even though there aren't any airplanes in the Bible, there are still things that fly in the Bible. I mean, what are some things that fly? I mean, if you think about it, mostly animals, right? We can think of animals that fly, and specifically one of the things that comes to mind are birds, right? Birds fly, and they've been flying since way before airplanes existed. And I wonder if people in the Bible times saw birds and were like, whoa, I think it'd be really cool to fly. Maybe one day we can have a machine that helps us fly. I wonder if they thought of something like an airplane. Okay, next thing you want to do is you want to take, you see this first line that we folded, right? This first line right here. We want to fold a small line in on top of that. That's not true. Here's what we want to do. For real though. Let me cut that. Beep. Okay, I got it. Here's what we want to do. We want to take this corner right here from that first line that we folded. We want to take this bottom corner and fold to where we're parallel with that line. See how that corner is right there with that line? We want to fold on that line and make it sealed nice and tight so your shape should look like that. And let me do that real fast so I can hold it up for you and make sure the seams match up nice and tight. Again, take your time. Take your time, pause the video, go back through the instructions if you need to, because the more time you spend, the better it's going to be in the end. So that's what it looks like right now, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side and cross it over. So the Bible does talk about birds a lot, and it's pretty interesting. Jesus actually preached about birds. Jesus' most famous sermon, the most famous time he spoke, was called the Sermon on the Mount. And the Sermon on the Mount is a long sermon that actually takes up 3 chapters in the Bible. 3 chapters of Jesus just preaching, Jesus talking to crowds about things. And actually, real fast, we're looking right here with our airplane. Real fast, what I want to do is read a little bit from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount when he's talking about birds. And this is found in Matthew chapter 6. And it starts in verse 25. So the big 6 in Matthew and the little 25. And we're going to read 2 verses, 25 and 26. And let's see what it says. Remember, Jesus is talking. Jesus says, I tell you, do not worry. Don't worry about your life, what you will eat or drink. And don't worry about your body and what you will wear. Isn't there more to life than eating? Aren't there more important things for the body than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They don't plant or gather crops. They don't put away crops in storerooms, but your Father who is in heaven feeds them. Aren't you worth much more than they are? See, Jesus says, we got a lot of things going on, right? But don't worry. Don't worry about what you're going to eat next. Don't worry about what clothes you're going to wear. Don't worry about silly things. Because at the end of the day, God gives you what you need, right? I mean, the birds of the air, don't they have food? Right? God gives them food. So why are you afraid? Don't worry about little things. God even takes care of the birds, and the birds aren't as valuable as humans are. Right? God loves us, and he wants to take care of us. Times right now are pretty crazy, right? We're out of school. Everybody's panicking over something that seems so serious, a virus but at the end of the day, God is going to take care of us. And Jesus tells us, don't worry about the silly things. Don't worry about the little things. Don't worry about anything. But trust in God, because he is going to take care of us. He even takes care of the birds. And speaking of birds, let's finish making our big orange bird right here. Once you've got this part right here, there's still a seam on the back where we folded earlier. Okay, we're going to fold on that seam inwards. Right where the X is, again, remember that X that you made full of folds? You want to fold right there, and everything should line up nice and central. My seam is going to come all the way down here. All right, I have a confession to make. I actually thought I finished the whole video and the whole plane, and I missed a step. How embarrassing. Oh man. All right, so here's now what we want to do. Once we get to this spot, I'm going to retrace my steps. We want to fold another wing into the middle. So you're going to take this corner right here, okay, the one that's slanted, and you're going to fold it and crease it to where it matches up with the middle right there. And you're going to do that with both sides. So let me go ahead and get that working for us. I don't even know what I was talking about, man. That's all right. Here we go. We're going to do this nice and quick. So there is that now. Now we have this airplane. Now it looks like an airplane. I was trying to figure out what in the world was wrong with it. And what we want to do is actually fold outwards. Okay, now is the time. It's time to make sense for us to fold in, but then it's going to bunch up our paper. So we want to fold outwards to where all this extra paper is kind of sitting on the outside. Crease that middle as we've already done. And now we want to fold our wings. I've kind of already folded my wings because, like I said, I messed up. You can see this crease pretty well. So I'm going to fold that back down into the wings and make that You know, I was talking earlier, and I don't remember if I filmed this or not, but I was just in the middle of a move. I just moved houses not too long ago. Bought my first house, and I moved to be closer here to the church because this is where I work. And I was worried about it. I was scared, and honestly, there's a lot to get done. But at the end of the day, God provided me with friends and family to help me move. And now I live in a new house, and it's awesome. And I'm just so grateful. But I think back and I think, man, it's a really silly thing to worry about, like how to get a few boxes into a new place. That's really silly, but God took care of me, just as Jesus said. God's going to take care of us. He takes care of the birds. Why would he take care of us, right? Oh, man. Anyway, we have our completed airplane finally ready to go. And here is the sample one that I took apart earlier. It looks like I made the wings on the sample one earlier. Oh, and don't forget the last part. You want to fold these ends up. Not a whole lot. Don't crease it, but you want to give it a little bit of that flare. You see how that kind of sticks up a little bit? a little bit of that flare, that's gonna help it glide through the air just a little bit. Or so I'm told. I've not actually really flown one of these. So let's actually go into the hallway and see how it works. Welcome back. We are downstairs here at the church. This is where our elementary kids go to class, down the hallway over there. It looks a little more kid friendly, but this is just a regular hallway. But anyway, we're gonna test these out finally. Here we go. Here's the pinkish, reddish, orangish one, whatever color you wanna call it. The one that I made as a sample to kind of help me out. Let's see how it flies. Hopefully we can get a good one for you on screen. It wasn't great. I think you kind of saw it fizzle out. I'm gonna stick to the side of the camera this time, but let's go for the orange one, the one we've been waiting for, the one we made on camera. Here it is. Hopefully we can get this going. I'm kind of nervous. I put so much effort into this. All right, let's see it. That wasn't bad. I don't think it was a great throw, but it kind of flew a little bit. Maybe if I took it outside, it would be a little better without a ceiling to throw underneath. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this, making your own paper airplanes, and I hope you remember not to worry in crazy times, in times that we don't really know what's going on, but remember that God even takes care of the birds. So of course He's gonna take care of us. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your paper airplanes. I hope you're able to throw yours a little better than I threw mine. Well, that's it for us, for KCC Kids Vids. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mr. Clark, signing off for now. Adios, amigos.